Michigan, we had over 2,000 people cramming into a facility that wasn't as big as this. There were more people outside and in hallways and literally outside in the cold than could even get in. It was unbelievable how many people showed up for that thing. As we were walking out, my wife and I were walking down and trying to say hello to as many people as we could. One lady reached out and said, "I don't have any money, but I want to help your campaign." And she reached over and put in my hands a little gold ring. And I said, "Ma'am, I can't take this." She said, "No, you have to. You have to. This is all I can do for your campaign. But I want you to have it because I want you to win. And this is what I can do." And her husband was standing right there. He said, "Yes, that's what we want. We want you to take this and sell it and use the money for the campaign." Janet's got it on her finger today. This is it right here. I want to tell you something. I was so stunned. She turned and slipped away. We're trying to find her. Somebody there had a picture of her. And now is the biggest manhunt in Michigan for our campaign. We're trying to find, who is she? Because we don't even have her name or address to thank her. When I realized that our campaign isn't being funded by big shots, it's not being funded by the folks on Wall Street. You won't see the most prominent folks necessarily always lining up with me. In fact, some of them lining up against me real hard. Let me tell you what I think America's about. It's about ladies, I don't even know her name, who would put this ring in my hand and say, "I want you to be president because I think you're going to be there for me. And I want to be there for her. And if I never know her name, I'll never forget her face, and I'll never forget that I'll be president for her as much as I'll be president for anybody who could write a check for $1 million and never miss it." It's that kind of lady right there that this country needs to never forget, because that's the kind of person who made this a great country. Not long after she handed me this ring, there was a big burly guy. He was standing there, took out his hand. He said, "I wish you could be in Traverse City tomorrow." I said, "I'd like to. I've got to be in South Carolina. Headed back to South Carolina tomorrow." He said, "Well, we got this banquet up there, and all these other candidates, they're going to have people up there. There's a U.S. senator going to speak for one of the candidates, and a congressman going to speak for the other one. And man, I need you up there." I said, "Well, I wish I could do it, but I'm going to be in South Carolina." He said, "Well, I'm going to go up there and set up a table, and I wish we had somebody to speak." I said, "You can do it." He said, "Man, I can't do it. I'm a truck driver." I looked at him and I said, "You're exactly who I want to go speak for me." He said, "You don't understand. I'm a truck driver." And I said, "And that's who I want on the podium for me tomorrow night. Can you do it?" He said, "Well, I've never made a speech." I said, "Can you be there?" He said, "Yes, sir, I'm going to be there." I said, "I want you to make the speech for me." If you get a chance to go to my website, MikeHuckabee.com, I want you to read the letter that he wrote of his story going up to Traverse City, Michigan at the Ronald Reagan dinner Saturday night. I read that, and I'm going to tell you, tears came to my eyes. He talked about how he got there, and when they got their little table set up, he set up between the other two candidates that you're hearing so much about. And he set up his table, and he was passing out literature. Hey, why should I give them publicity in my event, okay? And he went up to him and he said, the MC, he said, "I'm supposed to speak for Mike Huckabee." He said, "Oh, okay, what's your name?" He told him. He said, "And what office do you hold?" Because, I mean, the other guy, one was a U.S. Senator, one was a congressman. And he said, "And what office do you hold?" He said, "Well, I don't hold an office. I'm a truck driver." And the guy looked at him, and the truck driver's name is Randy Bishop. Randy Bishop looked at the MC. He said, now, would you please, in the introduction, would you tell him that I don't own a suit, and that's why I'm dressed like this. I just have this pullover sweater and some slacks, and I'm not dressed up like these other guys, but this is what I got, and would you explain that that's why I'm a little underdressed?" And the MC got up and he said, "Ladies and gentlemen, the next gentleman is going to speak for Mike Huckabee. He wanted you to know that he didn't own a suit. He's here, he's a truck driver, and he said that's why he's undressed." I think Randy tried to say, "No, sir, underdressed, not undressed." And from the reports that we have, Randy Bishop, that truck driver, got on that stage that Saturday night, and he gave the speech of the night. Because you know what? He wasn't a guy coming from Congress. He didn't have an entourage. He didn't have a bunch of aides. He didn't have any. You know what he had? He had a heart full of America, and he had a heart full of desire to see this country once again work for a truck driver named Randy Bishop. Guys, I want to tell you something. If I get elected president, I want to be president for Randy Bishop. I want to be president for a lady who will put a ring in my finger and say, this is all I got, but I want you to get there. And if this country can't work for the truck drivers like Randy Bishop and for the ladies who don't have money but have a ring they're willing to let go of, and all it is just a country where a few folks can run our lives, make the decisions that affect the way the rest of us live, then we've lost the greatness of this country that we once had. This campaign is more than just a different set of ideas, but we have some different ideas. It's more than a different generation. And yes, there's a different generation on the ballot between me and some of the other folks running. But it's also about a different understanding of what makes America great. And I say it's not greatness in Washington. It's not greatness in government. It's greatness in the hearts and the souls of young and old Americans alike who still love this country and are willing to make incredible sacrifices because they want their kids to have a better life. When I'm president, Randy Bishop is going to be at the inauguration. I'm going to make sure he has a suit and a tie. And he's going to stand on that platform and he's going to have the